One, Jeff, Barracuda, and the North American Sweethearts bring it home under the banner of Cognitive Pride.
No one thought had a chance at the finals coming into this event. Coming as a number 2. Down, ripping through, Titan, down, falls 3, a double kill for himself, it's a 5-man, they're gonna go for the win, the world
champions, Cognitive Pride, GG!
Season 2, we say hello to Europe as Adapting and Epsilon Esports slam it home.
A huge play, Adapting's about to go up, he's gonna come crashing down, who's the target? It's gonna be all 3, and 2 will get stunned out.
Oh no.
He's taking tons of damage.
Oh no.
Chaos force to move forward.
They don't have enough time for this. They don't have enough time for this.
No, it's a deicide. Ladies and gentlemen, Epsilon Esports.
Season 3, new name, same roster. 2-time world champions, Raffer and NRG.
Well, it's 4 members left, and into the sky goes Adapting. The ultimate's weighing down. The Titan is under siege. Energy are looking to be world champions again. Long live the king! And once again, the king is Europe.
Season 4, Polar Bear Mike brings it back for America. E-United slams the hammer.
Cracking and knocked back. There's Deathwalker controlling things. Panicat takes that Wlfy. Where's the remainder of the team fight?
Deathwalker falls to Benadu, and E-United keeps on going because Panicat
That's 2! Still pushing forward. They're at the Titan. Only 2 members to play defense.
They can't do it!
And that's the game. That's the series. That is your Smite World Championship. Say hello to your North American victors, Polar Bear Mike and E-United.
Season 5, new map, new players, new teams, same destination. Who raises Thor's hammer? The Smite Pro League.
Welcome to the SPL, the start of Week 5. Finch here, joined by Anatoly Alexeyev. Happy to have you here with me as the picture of who's going to the placement stage and who gets the bye starting to come into shape.
We're in week number 5, Finch, on this beautiful Tuesday afternoon, or in the evening if you're from Europe, because that's what we're bringing you today, some European action.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what matches are going to be filling out the day for you, and it's huge. Rival up against Dignitas, such an important matchup to start the day. Energy up against Obey, another big matchup right behind it. Then Mouse and SK to try and determine seeding on the bottom half. A little bit hard for those 2 teams to get that bye at this point, but which teams you can end up playing in the placement stage are critical. You want every win you can get.
That's right, because the top 2 teams are going to be able to get that auto bye into HRX, so all these sets, very important. Technically, Mouseport still has a chance to clinch, but if Energy just win a single game between this and next week, then Mousesport's chances get eliminated.
It's not going to be an easy path for them to make it, but don't forget that the path for you all out there at home is not nearly as difficult. hi-rezexpos.com is where you want to go to pick up your tickets for HRX. November 16th through 18th is when you're going to be able to be there to pick up those tickets. Make sure that you grab them for yourself. That's going to be Smite World Championship Console, Paladins, and Paladins Console. All will be there.
A little bit earlier than your traditional first week of January, so make sure you mark the date on your calendar. Bring a light sweater. Don't worry about bringing that jacket, but you can put the jacket away at the after party as well on that Sunday main event. hrxafterparty.eventbrite.com. And Finch, I thought you're doing something specific for this
Yeah,
event.
I'm giving out handshakes.
But not just any handshakes.
Crisp handshakes.
The crispest.
That's it.
Can we get a preview? Hold on.
Is that nice and crisp?
That is a very crisp handshake, Finch.
Happy to do it.
Man. You definitely want to get
for
yourselves one of this at the after party.
That's right. It'll be there for you. Also, make sure you get your accounts linked up as well. Since you're already here watching on Mixer, why not get them linked up? Make sure you can earn that SPL Bologna.
And being able to get all those in-stream rewards, you might as well be watching. Get those levels up on Mixer. Get your skin rewards as well.
That's it. Make sure you're linked up. It's just that easy. Those will be coming to you automatically once you have that linked up and you have your chance to watch it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at where everybody is shaping up as we move into our next week of action. We already talked about it. Dignitas is up there at the top 6-1. Energy hot on their heels right behind them at 5-2. And Obey and Rival trying to force their way back into that top 2 discussion at 4-3 each.
Mousesports and SK Gaming struggling very deeply. Doubt they're going to make the top 2 here currently, but still have a chance in the placements as well. They'll get their opportunity to shine, but Dignitas 6-1, getting the loss in the previous week up against Energy, whereas Rival are coming off of a victory against Obey Alliance.
That's right. They were able to look pretty strong off of that win. We'll see if they have a chance to try and make that work for them here up against Dignitas. It is going to be the first set that we're taking a look at today. Tons of implications for this one. If Dignitas win, I mean, essentially kind of shoves Rival out. It makes it very difficult for them to try and find their way in. Meanwhile, Rival trying to find a way to win. But let's talk about Dig. I mean, how do they recover coming into this one after that tough set that they had up against Energy? Well, to try and find out a little bit more about that, I had a chance to sit down with Trix, talk to him about how he felt about Dig, especially going into this match. All right, I'm sitting down here with Trixtank, support for Dignitas, who are up there at the top of EU right now, so I hope you're feeling good. I mean, you guys do seem to be the top team, at least based on your performance in the actual SPL. How did you guys refocus after that summer split, which didn't go the best?
I think it's summer split. We were all a little baked out, all of us. I don't think. I think it was just a lack of motivation that cost us that split, and I just think the renewed energy for Worlds and just Worlds coming up have given us more energy and made us focus a lot. And I think that's why we are on top now. I think we're just like we just have more motivation than last split.
Well, I'm glad to hear y'all are feeling motivated, man. This matchup against Rival is going to be so important, especially with you all dropping to Energy. I mean, how important is this set to you all as a team? How do you guys stay prepped and motivated for big sets like this?
I mean, we just scrim a lot, make sure that we watch the VODs. What are they going to do? What are they going to play? And just keep our calm. We know what to do in order to win. So if we just play our own game, I think we will be able to win. And yeah.
That's right. Just got to play your
Pretty
game.
much.
I agree, man. Well, you guys always seem to do so well in the online phase. I mean, but maybe have had some trouble in LAN environments. I mean, is there anything that you all have noticed that you feel like might be hurting y'all there?
I would like to disagree with that, actually.
Sure.
When we got together, the first LAN we got second place. The first LAN second place, second LAN first place, and then we got to regionals, where we choked big time, and I think that was due to being too far behind in the meta. I don't think that was us playing bad as a team. We almost won a couple of games even though we were so far behind. I think that says a lot about our team, that even though we don't have the pick and bans, and if we're far behind, of course that can't happen in a top team, but it happened for us at regionals at the worst time. And then we come back as well. The first LAN this year, we got second place. We should have won, in my opinion. We choked a little bit there in the finals, I will say, but I do think we're a really good team on LAN. We just need to be ahead of the meta, or at least equal on the meta as to our opponents, and then I think we'll be just fine, as good as we are online.
No, I mean, that's how good you guys are online, that our standards for you guys are that you just win everything, because you just look so strong all the time. So, I mean, I agree. Y'all are certainly having good performances. I'm right there with you. Well, good luck here in your setup against Rival. It's such a big one, man. Any shout-out you want to give before I let you go or anything like that?
I mean, shout-out to our new sponsor champion. Loving the clothes, and shout-out to Team Dignitas and all the other sponsors. I appreciate it a lot. And, of course, shout-out to all the fans that is cheering for us. We appreciate it, and see you at Worlds.
That's right. See you at Worlds. One more time. Trixtank here, support for Dig. Good luck to you guys, man.
Thank you.
Always love getting to hear from Trixtank. Feeling maybe a little bit like, well, maybe the narrative around their LAN performance isn't correct there, totally. What are your thoughts on that one? Because, you know, we heard Trix talk a little bit about it. He feels like they've been doing pretty well there. Are our expectations maybe a little bit too high for them, or what are your thoughts on it?
Young Khepri, not so young anymore. Matured a lot since the launch tournament days, and you can definitely tell that he pulls it out deep in his heart, just the way he was talking about his past performances.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's trying to learn from it, not only himself, but his teammates, being able to adapt to the meta. And this is why I think they've been so successful now in the fall split, being able to play their own style. Very long games that really is a test of their perseverance for not only themselves, but the enemy team that they're against. Energy last week were able to topple over Dignitas because they didn't want to play Dignitas' style. They were able to adapt and change to their own, being super aggressive in the beginning of the game. And this is how I think Rival are going to need to play. Look through some of their research in the previous week of what Energy did and make it happen here today.
Well, we're going to see if maybe Rival can pull that out. That's the opposition across the way for Team Dignitas. And they got some strong performance, I would say, in their setup against Sobek. Were able to find the win. Wlfy performed exceptionally well. Ice has been consistently that top-tier player for them as well. I feel like, especially here in the fall split, just playing at a really high level that we come to expect from them here. I mean, where are you looking at on this Rival squad to make sure they're going to be able to hang with this Dig team? Because it is not easy.
Everywhere, honestly. Against Dignitas, you think about Dignitas, Energy, Rival, even Obey Alliance. If anyone is not performing to the highest of expectations, you are going to lose this game. This is the top 4 of Europe, and some would argue that even the bottom 2 of those top 4 is better than North America right now, so this is no easy task. Everyone from Rival needs to step up today.
No, I think it's a pretty easy argument to make that the rest of Europe is looking just as strong too. Well, let's move into the picks and bans for Game 1 here. Dignitas up against Team Rival, with a Rival as that first pick selection here in this game. Huge implications for who's going to be getting that bye and who's going to be down there in the placement stages. Hard to believe that between Rival, Energy, Dig, Obey, someone's got to fight their way through.
I mean, think about it this way. In the springtime, Energy didn't make the LAN. In the summertime, Energy makes the LAN over Dignitas, and then Energy just win it all with their Rival being in the second place. So any split, any day, anything can happen in the European scene. It's just a shakeup.
That's right. It's so close between all these teams. And right out the gate, we're seeing a lot of, I would say, fairly standard bans. This Amaterasu has been heavily prioritized in the support role. We've seen Emilzy prioritize it, Trixtank as well. So Rival taking that off the board and making sure they don't have to deal with it here.
It's so annoying to have to deal with that passive 10% damage amplification, especially during laning phase. The way Trixtank is playing it is he doesn't even worry about clearing the wave. He'll get his aura for the physical power, allowing Arkkyl, who more than likely is going to be playing the Ram, to clear the wave a little bit faster or just look for the poke potential.
Morrigan going to come in as that first pick for Rival. That means they are going to be giving up the Freya and the Ram. I wouldn't be surprised to see that Ram going over to Arkkyl himself and letting Zyrhoes play that Freya. They've given up some strong picks, especially with the Serket taken off the board. Not quite as easy to punish without that very strong jungler available to them. We'll see if Dig can make use of these 2 auto attackers.
Because of the threat that Zyrhoes has by playing the Morrigan, Rival wanted to strip that away from him. But now leaving a Freya open as well, the lane pressure is going to be difficult for Wlfy to handle. iceicebaby needs to fight fire with fire and look for some kind of, not babysitting necessarily, but just some setup, being able to put Wlfy in a comfortable position.
Double Guardians coming out from Rival, recognizing they had an opportunity, especially with Athena already banned, to try and get a monopoly. But it does mean that Terra is still available for Dignitas. I think Rival might have been worried that that Coerce would have been a little bit too strong if that could have been over there for Freya Ram, so they picked them both up.
Between the Morrigan and the Fafnir, Rival is doing an anti-Dignitas strat. It's clearly going the way of Dignitas' hands because they're getting whatever they want, even banning away the Odin from iceicebaby that had a remarkable performance against Obey last week.
I think that's really what turned it around. It's just how off the rails he was able to get very early on that game. They could not slow that Odin down, so I like the ban. Rival banning away this Daji. I don't see any adapting around. Maybe he's just put the fear in everybody out there. Don't let this Daji be out there because of how strong he's played it. As Dignitas are going to pick up the Khepri. So that means we're likely seeing, what, a Terra in the solo lane at this point?
Well, if you're not going to be picking up the Geb, then Khepri's your next best selection. I like the idea of keeping your hyper carries alive. This allows Zyrhoes on the Freya and Arkkyl on the Rama to just continue the pressure. And the Camazotz is not a very common pick in the fall split. We have seen it a lot at the very beginning of Season 5 and towards the end of Season 4, but maybe Rival have a specific strategy in mind.
The Cupid is going to come out. I like this, though. This could potentially slow down Terra. She's so reliant on that dash for a lot of her kit. Maybe this can slow it down. But, I mean, totally talking about picking this Camazotz into the Khepri. He basically only does damage, and they already have someone on their team who's very good at getting you out when you commit heavily to put in damage.
I think a lot of it comes down to forcing some premature relics, forcing some premature ultimates, trying to get that Valkyrie's discretion, the Astral Barrage out of the Rama. And if you can get Freya and or Rama out of the equation in the team fights, I think the rest of Rival can use the sustain from the Cupid to be able to just re-engage.
They now have that Ramen rounding out their draft. Is that enough for you to vote on the side of Dignitas, or do you think you're feeling maybe a little bit more on the side of Rival here? Either way, let us know in the Mixer poll. Right now, though, Dignitas are kind of scary. It feels like they've got relevance at every stage of the game, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to deal with Freya mid, Ram late, or Ravana early. It's scary at every point.
I got to give it to Dignitas because of the double control factor, Terra, Khepri, then the
Yeah.
late game damage between Freya and Rama. If Dig don't win this game, I'll be shocked.
Shocked. Let's see if they can make it work for them. Dignitas up against a rival, a set with all kind of implications for the standings. Let's go ahead and get over to the casters, find out exactly what happens.
You know, when I am playing in a must-win scenario, Ryan, I pick Cupid.
I believe that. I really do.
I'm just kidding. Tom and Aggro here on the call. Doug, as always, behind the ones and twos. And as we watch Rival take on Team Dignitas, you know, I kind of opened in a jocular fashion, but realistically, Cupid, not my go-to pick when I need to win.
No, but it has been for SK. I mean, Funball's been playing a ton of it. Clearly, Vode is starting to pull a page out of that. He played it, I believe, last week as well. It's just a pick that can do a lot of work as relics expended on both sides. Both relics by Team Dignitas in response to that upgraded horrific emblem from Kalas, really trying to put a damper on the clear speed of Dignitas, but not able to do so.
What I do like about the Cupid is that it's going to keep specifically Variety and Trixtank kind of in check. The two frontline characters are extremely dependent on their dash. Not going to be available. iceicebaby, however, going to be available for the gang on the left-hand side. Arkkyl was but a memory. First blood for Team Rival.
Man, that bait for the shell and the beads earlier on ends up really coming back to help Rival, but I don't know that it is the big difference maker. Iceice probably is able to get that kill without worrying about beads or shell because he's Camazotz, and Arkkyl was level 1, wasn't going to be able to hit level 2 off of that buff invade. And I'm surprised we don't see more of that exact rotation from a jungler with when you know that you're going to lose lane pressure level 1, you know the enemy is going to be on purple buff early on. Go over there and get a free first blood.
Vote looking for one of zone. Trixtank and Arkkyl able to kind of wiggle on out, and Team Rival pick up the purple of invade nice and clean. iceicebaby, though, making his rotation over the left side. Is that a God-specific request, or...?
No, it's specific to a duo lane that's going to get out-pressured. And trust me, Fafnir Cupid isn't out-pressuring anybody anytime soon. Very low-pressure lane for Rival. High kill potential lane, but low pressure in the clear department. The only downside of that start is that it does set Deathwalker behind by a pretty significant amount. I mean, Variety got his blue and Deathwalker's blue. The XP Harpies on that right-hand side went to QvoFred. So it's going to set iceice a bit behind, but really the main beneficiary of this will be the duo lane for Rival, and they get that lead at the cost of the lead for Deathwalker and iceicebaby.
Deathwalker about half a level down from her direct opponent, Variety. With that said, I mean, Terra is not a character that exactly has a lot of kill potential in that lane. Sobek doesn't need the mana return from the blue buff theoretically. Now, the experience is a different story. But he can, if there's a character you're going to go without your blue buff in a match, right, this is it.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it's not there is no kill potential in this lane at all in the 1v1. I'm pretty sure you would have to DC in order at the SPL level. If you die in a Terra Sobek 1v1, then I don't know what I don't know what you're doing. It's literally as close to impossible as it could get.
I don't know. Sobek can flip you on his tower.
No, so Terra can put down a monolith and she can't be flipped.
What if she doesn't have a monolith out?
It counts for the monolith and the 2, and it persists for a decent amount of time.
But what if she doesn't have the 2?
Then why are you playing that lane matchup in the SPL?
Because you wanna be Terra. You wanna terrify the opponent.
You're not terrifying anybody if you don't understand how to not get Sobek plucked under tower.
But what if it happens so quickly that you're just not able to?
Then you're dead so quickly.
Oh man,
that would be tough.
That would be tough. That definitely would be tough. But right now, anything but level 5s for our solo laners. Not too big of a deal over there on the short side. Long side, here we are back one more time. The Cupid looking for the Ram and everything. So with this matchup, Ryan, why don't you tell us how you view this Khepri Ram versus Cupid Faffy?
Cupid is not there to outclear you ever, under any circumstances. He's there to kill you and to force your ultimate defensively and to force your beads. Vode is going to be trying to use his Fields of Love as often as possible, especially in conjunction with that 10% CDR that Transcendence gives him. to try and poke out Arkkyl and make sure that his ultimate is always down for whenever iceicebaby comes over. Beads don't save you against Camazotz anyways. You really need Aegis.
Yeah.
But you can't get Aegis up against Cupid because his ultimate's going to be on a shorter cooldown than yours because he's going CDR and you aren't. So that's why we see these two gods kind of in conjunction with one another, and I expect Iceice to spend at least one more gank on this left-hand side once Vote hits level 5, maybe even a couple, because Arkkyl really should be pretty vulnerable in that lane. It's also a great pick against the Terra. Terra needs to dash in order for her monolith to be really useful at all.
Just like
during
Khepri.
team fights, just like Khepri is going to need the dash. So it does end up being a pretty good pick in the team fights when you look at it that way. I am surprised that Trixtank goes Shell instead of Sprint because Sprint is the I don't care about Cupid ult button. So that's a bit surprising to me. I think I would have preferred to see Trix go for that Sprint, but
right.
Shell has become kind of the new flavor of the month. Upgraded Shell and is kind of taking the same spot as upgraded Sprint had earlier on in this season. I really don't think that upgraded Shell right away is optimal, just as I didn't think that upgraded Sprint right away was optimal. It just kind of what teams are going right now, and that's how the pro meta goes. Things ebb and flow, and eventually a new support will come out with a new start or a new strategy, and it'll be great, and then everyone will start doing that again. That's
so I liked the super sprint start. I think that optimal there is kind of almost a deceptive way of thinking. Team Dignitas now getting deceived by Kalas, who wraps around the backside. It's a 4-on-3. As Sobek wants no part of this fight, Dignitas will wrestle control the right side. And when it comes down to the sprint, it's not a numerical, right? So you can't talk about. It really just depends on if you're aggressive and you're going to make use of that Fatalis effect, then go for it. I see it. Sure. But then we saw teams kind of shy away from that. That was a first blood all the time. Teams were looking for the first blood in the first 3 waves. But now we see a little bit more patience on that side. And when it comes down to Super Shell, that's where I think we can have a conversation about viability and or optimum, or what is most optimal. And I'm with you. I think that itemization over the advanced shell is probably the better way to go because you only have 2 block stacks.
Trick's in a bit of trouble, but Wlfy's the one who needs to transform quickly and does just that. Great target there, but snipes coming from Arkkyl. Couldn't see where Wlfy was, and as a result, Wlfy does escape.
Nice job there from the Morrigan player in the middle lane. Wlfy adding the Morrigan to his repertoire has definitely been a big part of Rival's sort of resurgence. The mid laner had some struggles throughout the course of Season 5, and spreading his god pool to the Morrigan, I think, is definitely interesting. One, just because it's a new god and she's very effective, but also, 2, I frequently talk about the real meta and what is the league that you're playing in. What you see these guys play is different than what you play in your Masters games and your Gold games, etc. Your local game store, if you will. Dignitas, you have to be aware of the Morrigan versus Zyrhoes.
Yep.
The European SPL demands that you're aware of it, and almost to the point where it demands that you play it.
At this point, I think the Morrigan is so strong that if you can't play it in the mid lane, you're doing your team a disservice. I think she's that good right now, and it's tough because the Morrigan, in my mind, is unequivocally the hardest god in the game.
Yes.
Because you just have more options than anyone else in the game, and it isn't close. To find the right answer to a given problem at any given point, you have more options than anybody else, and therefore making the correct decision at the right time. Sure, sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes it's transforming into Camazotz in order to ult away from a Freya who can't hit you at that point. It isn't always that obvious, and the playstyle is so different than your traditional lane matchup as well. Blink forward onto Wlfy here by QvoFred. Good patience from Wlfy on the stun, but it doesn't matter. Dignitas able to put themselves on the board with that kill. And that's good punishment of the Morrigan when she doesn't have her ultimate. But to say that you need to be able to play a god, I think there are times like that where you need to be able to play this god in this role because it's so good that you're hurting your team if you can't at least threaten that in the draft. It's not to say you have to be as good as Zyrhoes in the Morrigan, because you won't be, but you have to have it in the god pool. And Wlfy having it is good, yes, but it's such a hard god to play that I wonder if it won't, not for Wlfy necessarily, I just mean in general, if it's tough.
Iceicebaby. Wow. Certainly going to Feel that one. Big damage coming out from Team Dignitas, who I wanted to give the shout out to earlier. Really smooth play by Zyrhoes, kind of faking the play onto Fafnir and then having the team engage on Wlfy in the mid lane. Wlfy cheats up because he thinks his support's going to get engaged on when that wasn't the plan at all. A whoop onto Fafnir and then all eyes are on the mid laner. That really was, I think, how it was drawn up. And Team Bravo gets surprised by Dignitas. Kind of look at my left and I'll hit you with my right. I like that play.
I love this composition from Dignitas, though. I mean, you can already see it working very, very well. It's just whoop into guaranteed Terra stun, which isn't always guaranteed, into guaranteed abduct, which is a very, very long CC. And even someone like Camazotz, who has ultimate that gives himself pure damage immunity, can't hit him if you haven't hit him already at that point. It just doesn't matter because he never gets a chance to get up into the air. This big Guardian frontline composition with long-range damage from Arkkyl and good chase-down potential from QvoFred, none of it is impactful without that whoop first from Zyrhoes. He is the initiator right now.
Yeah, he's going to be a big part of it. And I have to applaud the picks and ban phase. I think that there's a lot going into here. And you heard Trix talking to Finch before the match, saying that he thinks that through all of their struggles, Dignitas, he believes that they've played well. It's just that sometimes they're behind the meta and they're not available for the X's and O's conversations. Whereas here, this is Dignitas kind of doubling down and showing us, all right, we can play, but I think this is that missing element that Dignitas didn't have when we saw them kind of flounder around and miss lands and perform less than we expected them to, is this sort of thought process with respect to the pick and ban phase.
Dignitas is probably the most predictable team in picks and bans, but they're so good that it really hasn't hurt them yet.
Exactly.
I wonder if at some point it will, but so far, you know Arkkyl going to play Ram. Stop it. You know, do it. We'll wait and see. There will always be one pick that's at least slightly different. I mean, I'm looking at Trixtank's Khepri. Not something that we've seen a ton of from him as of late, but it's the same sort of idea where it's all in conjunction with one another, where it makes sense with their picks, and it really they've got. It seems like whenever they're willing to experiment, it'll be 4 gods they know through and through, and then 1 god that makes sense. They just haven't played it yet, and that's the sort of that's the adjustment that you need to make against this team.
Deathwalker trying to adjust into the enemy blue buff. Doesn't look like he'll come up clean. Variety picks that up. And yeah, no, I mean, you guys were making basketball references earlier on Esports Weekly, which, if you missed it, has moved to Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Make sure you tune in. And yeah, you know LeBron is going to shoot the ball. Can you stop him? Right? Like, that's kind of how Dignitas is out here. And frankly, you want to talk about individual talent. QvoFred could just be the best jungler in the world. Zyrhoes, all in their individual positions. Go down the list, right? Yeah. I think Variety is probably the weakest link on this team, and he's top 3 in his position, arguably. Like, it is a Team Dignitas equipped. Certainly the fall split has shown that as well. Undefeated here in the European side of the SPL. Nice clean look for them so far.
I don't know. I think Variety has played so well during this fall split. I think he's really stepped up his game for Dignitas during this fall.
I agree.
Baron has been a great pick for him. It's the exact type of god that Variety wants to play, and that he plays very, very well. I think if you're talking about premier Baron players in the SPL right now, I look at PBM for United, and I look at Variety for Dignitas. I think those two are head and shoulders above everybody else.
There's that combo you were talking about, the lift into the grab. Kalas able to wiggle out. And I'm with you. I mean, going back to Variety seasons past, he came onto the scene playing Jean-Quiz and thick, tanky, control-oriented mages. The Chongas come to mind, right? And yeah, Baron came out, and I feel like Harry just went, "Is that for me?"
Yes.
Thank you, AJ.
It is.
Thank you.
It sure is for him right away. I mean, he plays it very well, but he's also been playing very well on, I mean, he's been a Croc main forever.
Yeah.
Anytime Sobek's in the meta, Variety is going to probably be doing very well for himself. He really likes his Terra selection, and I really like him on it. It really does fit that same sort of style.
Is interesting. I don't like many solo Terras, but I've enjoyed Varieties. I think he does bring the control that we used to see global Terra here. And then once the global went away, we kind of lost sight of her in the solo lane. Variety just kind of said, "I'm down. I'll keep my hands on the wheel," and I've enjoyed watching him play the Terra. Other players, not so much. I feel the sort of lack of application with the loss of the ultimate. Meanwhile, Variety able to make the rotations a little bit more often than others, and I think just be more impactful in general.
It's also partially about Dignitas' playstyle. Dignitas is a pure team fight team.
Yes.
They don't beat you many other ways than out team fighting you. They do it so consistently that they have a very, very good season record, and that is crazy because team fights are often so volatile. One missed ability, that misses by an inch, and you fat-fingered a relic beforehand before the fight, and all of a sudden you lose the fight because of it. Dignitas has been unbelievably consistent in not letting little things like that derail their entire team work level throughout this season. But that's why I think Terra fits so well into what they do, is because Terra's not good if you want to invade, if you want to pick people off. She's really not your best bet for that. It's definitely more about the team fights for her.
Well, Team Rival going to start the team fight. Dignitas might have the numbers advantage, though. Even still, they're going to walk away. 2-1 so far, 15.5 in. Team Dignitas and Team Rival essentially tied. I will point out a 500, 600 gold differential, but I don't think there's anything worth talking about. 667, Smite memed.
Weekend number 1.
Gold Fury started here, half HP. Dignitas starting it and could be finishing it. Collis and Vote going to sneak up here. It is Team Dignitas. Vote with the delayed burst ultimate. Not going to be able to find that. Trixtank now trying to get out. Looks like he'll do just that. Team Dignitas with the first objective of the game. Nice and easy for the black and yellow. No real contest there. Variety under the tower. Doesn't get plucked because he puts down a monolith.
Look at that. And that's what he could do all lane long.
But imagine if he didn't.
Then he would have gotten plucked. Good, really good Gold Fury pull there by Dignitas. It's the right power spike moment. Arkkyl had just gotten his Ichabod done. Zyrhoes had just finished Bancroft's Talon, whereas the same level of power spike wasn't really there for Rival quite yet.
Dignitas now starting again. Wlfy is lifted. Goes to the sky. Rom hits both shots. And a third just for fun on top of Vote. Wlfy goes down thanks to the accuracy of Arkkyl. Team Dignitas absolutely lighting it up.
Kalas could be next. Has his ultimate if he needs it. And he needs it all right, but never gets it off. Cuvo able to get that kill. Vote now put in a hard spot. Still had the dash up, so he's back to safety. But Dignitas, man, just one by one, Rival takes a bad fight. Wlfy goes too far forward without any sort of transformation option. He just immediately gets whooped by Freya and killed.
I think Dignitas just has the better team composition here. Zyrhoes could be in trouble.
Zyrhoes is in a lot of trouble here. No ultimate for him. He's going to take a lot of damage from that lurking in the waters. Aegis was mistimed, but Trix has to res himself. Still pretty good. And Trixtank is level 14, by the way.
14.
iceicebaby only level 12. So he's not going to be able to do a whole lot of damage to this Khepri. It is, a lot of times we go, oh, the support needs to not soak as much farm because then they're taking it away from the carries. But when you can get to the point where you're 2 levels up on the enemy jungler, a level up on the enemy mid laner, who cares if you in the mid are the same level? You are unkillable.
Exactly. And you can see right here the difference between our two sort of long lanes, level 16 and level 12 for the Hunter and support respectively on Rival. Now, Arkkyl is about half a level down from Vote, but I like the spread of experience among the two of them. Arkkyl is behind his other Hunter, but his support is a higher level, and the combined experience of the two I like better than just having this raw Hunter ahead.
It's just, a lot of supports, I don't think that getting them this far ahead is a good idea. I think I would rather see what Kalas has done, which is be here for most waves, but occasionally I'm off warding and I'll miss one, and that'll get you a little bit further ahead. Yes, it puts me behind, but that's the support mentality. But Khepri needs to be so close to you. How many engagements have been started by a whoop into a Khepri abduct? He can't do that if he's level 9.
Yep.
Because then he just insta-dies. Now remember, abducts, he does get protections during that now, That's a recent change, but still, being level 15, he can abduct all day and really not be worried.
That's why I love the Oni Hunter's garb here for Trixtank. Character is going to be surrounded by opponents, and usually this is an item that I love on solo laners and dislike on supports, because supports have a slightly different role in the team fight. They're not always surrounded the way a Sun Wukong is or the way an Osiris is. Sometimes they're on the outskirts of the fight looking for peel, or they're on the other side of the outskirts of the fight looking to initiate. Khepri is literally going to be surrounded by teammates because he wants to be.
Vote in a world of hurt now, but all 3 shots missed from Arkkyl. Transformation here, it's into the Khepri, and Vote has that Scarab's Blessing on him. Wlfy gets the res, and now it's Arkkyl who ends up falling. What a play!
Ice, baby! From a slight distance, taking care of the Hunter. Arkyl's gonna sit on down, but it's just 1 for none. A very big team fight, not as much as Team Rival probably wanted.
Ice looping around the back looking for Zero. Zero's no Aegis or ultimate, so he's a prime target right now, but instead it'll be Trixtank served up, and he's got his Scarab's Blessing and certainly needs it, but great patience here from Rival. Shell won't be enough to save Trix's life, or will
yes, it will.
Indeed. Level 16 still ahead means that he doesn't fall.
Bugdad gets on out. Team Dignitas 4-2 at the moment. Team Rival do get more than they initially got. They do take down the tier 1 tower, but again, Ryan, I find myself saying that I think Rival probably wanted more. And I'm going to let you do your thing. I'm going to ask you to break down the team fight. But realistically, I think it's as simple as Dignitas weren't set there. Every successful shot we've seen from Dig has been about them executing their comp. And this was Rival kind of getting them by, I don't want to say surprise, but
It should have been an easy kill for Dignitas on the Vote. It really just 1 shot from Arkkyl hitting, I think, is able to guarantee that in time before Wlfy's able to get there. But Wlfy, that's a great heads-up play from him to transform into the Khepri to revive Vote.
Yeah.
And it's not just that, oh, I see a teammate low, let me res them. It's, I understand how many cooldowns Dignitas has just used, and that even if I res Vote at 15, 20% health, he's going to live because Dignitas has nothing left in the tank. It makes Dignitas stick around a little bit longer. They pop the Scarab's Blessing, but Vote's able to stay healthy after the fact. Wlfy's able to keep the fight going after that. Kalas's rotation, Deathwalker, iceicebaby, all of them are able to get nice and close. And that really did stop the bleeding, and Dignitas now don't have that man advantage that they've had basically every fight since the beginning.
Gold Fury down to about 40. Rob's already in the air, mind you. And it's 2 shots. Not going to be enough. Real close, though.
Very close attempt by Arkkyl, but no full commit from Dignitas. Qvo was still on the right side of the map and wasn't able to get involved there quite yet. Plus, he doesn't have his purification beads. Arkyl's relicless. That's a big reason why Rival is able to take that without a big engagement from Team Dignitas, because Arkyl's too vulnerable. Qvo is slightly too vulnerable. Whereas you look at the Rival side, their relics are all up for the most part. It's just Aegis down right now for Vote, and he's got great front line to save him anyways. So I don't mind that call from Dignitas to let that Gold Fury go.
22.5 here. Team Dignitas, rather low kill count. 4-2, tie game. Team Rival able to wrestle control back as they take care of the Gold Fury on the left side of the map. Now teams located on the right. Rival pushing up on this tier 1 tower. This could be a mistake, or this could just be the better opportunity for Team Rival. I think if Team Dignitas are able to really set a player up and get the pick that they want, then Rival have to all-out retreat.
Qvo's lurking on the left-hand side. Whoops, straight on a Deathwalker, but now he's too tanky for that combo to work. Good idea by Trix to not go for the abduct right there, because there's just no chance they kill Deathwalker with any sort of speed anymore. He's far too tanky. Max level 20. Zyrhoes needs to hit 3 auto attacks to stack up that Demo Grip pen. It's going to take way too long.
It's also only going to get worse. I mean, he only has 1 stack on the Urchin. With that said, it has been an extremely low kill count game. How is that a thought process? When you see an opponent with an Urchin, you go, we're going to fight less? Is that something you actually do?
Not really, in my experience. It's just kind of understanding that, hey, if we start losing fights, it's going to be hard
Gonna snowball
for us. So let's make sure our fights that we're taking are really good. Maybe that calls you off of 1 fight in a game.
But realistically, it's not a giant stop sign.
No, it is not, because you're just letting him. Maybe if it was the 6th item merchant, but even then, it's like, oh, this guy's about 6th item merchant. Sick. We get a pretty easy team fight.
Yeah, because it's
That's
a
not
fake
good-
item before 3 stacks. So.
Right. So in the early game, you're like, oh, he's got Urchin, but let's fight in good spots so he doesn't get any Urchin stacks before we actually have a very worthwhile team fight. That's kind of more of the idea in my mind, or at least it was, that I'd rather fight when they've got 0 stacks in a good fight than an okay fight later on.
I think that makes sense. I always thought of you as a smart player.
I don't know. I didn't do a whole lot of winning, so, you know.
No, I mean you had a
I'm
bigger
sure.
brain than like actual talent pool for sure.
Right. That is, you know, that's just something that I bring to the table.
You got a big brain.
Big brain.
That's why you cast.
Yeah.
You got a big brain.
Yep. That's what they say.
I'm the only one that says that, by the way.
I
I'm
know.
sorry.
I know. No, you're right.
Finch calls you little brain, and I make fun of him for it.
Why would he say that?
Because he's,
Do you think he means it when he says that?
I don't know, he's probably just funching around.
Hopefully so.
Ice on the Camazotz, I feel like I want to say, excuse me, that I expected more early game, more mid game specifically. Camazotz really comes into himself in the mid game. But the reason I'm not saying that is because of how slow paced that the game has been. I want to have seen more from iceicebaby, but it has been slow. Why has iceice kind of been? How has iceice kind of been stopped from doing what he wants to do?
It was that Trixtank was so far ahead of him that he couldn't really deal damage to the Khepri himself. Plus, there's a lot of disjoint and easy escape options here for Dignitas. Valkyrie's Discretion, Astral Barrage, both of them take you out of combat for a very long time. Scarab's Blessing, good protection from Earth and Fury. Qvo's got Overhead Kick and Mystic Rush. Like, who do you kill pretty easily in the laning phase? Now that we're in the team fight, I mean, Camazotz is not an assassin that falls off. He does very well even throughout the later stages because he's got pretty decent scaling. He can hit you from a distance. His ultimate is phenomenal at all stages of the game. So I'm not too worried for Ice here. I am interested that he started his 1000-fold blade and then went into a Brawler's Beat Stick, understanding that he needed an anti-heal really soon in case fights did start happening.
I like
with this
that
Terra
move.
involved. Definitely a strong call. I agree with you. But I wonder if that is going to turn into a Masamune. It's not Heartseeker anymore. I mean...
No, it has to be a Masamune, which I think is underpurchased.
Maybe a Stone Cutting?
Yes, and
If he's trying to auto-cancel in between his abilities, that seems optimistic to me.
I say it has to be a Masamune, understanding that the Stoner Sword is the more prevalent item. But the Masamune is you get health on it, and you get the passive, which is going to help you out as well. And especially this game is clearly going into the late stages. You're going to need all the protection you can get as Camazotz, right?
Right.
So when it comes down to it, I definitely want to see that be a Masamune. But I like Iceice's commitment to the anti-heal. I think you see a lot of people go, well, I bought tier 2, have to buy tier 3, but the quick shift is a good look.
Decent damage there onto Wlfy, whose beads are now down. Looks like Kvo blinked onto him. He was able to do the majority of that damage with just his first rotation of skills. Now, Wlfy does get some sustain from Vote, and this is something that Cupid does bring to your team composition that other hunters do not.
Yeah.
Just team sustain.
Chiron does. Deathwalker lifted and stunned out. Here's the damage. Trixtank off the mark with the pull.
I really like Vote's commitment to just holding Heart Bomb until Trixtank abducts. Because at that point, Trix has two options. Either bring the Heart Bomb back towards his team where he's safer, but now he's got to worry about spreading that damage and the stun to his whole squad, or do you stay forward and get peppered by the opposition, but at least your teammates won't get stunned by Heart Bomb. It kind of puts them in a catch-22 situation. And I wonder if that's going to be something that ends up impacting a later team fight.
Could be. Odysseus bow already online for the Cupid, by the way. Interesting build path coming out. Kalas rooted, not going to be grabbed. Deathwalker, on the other hand, pulled underneath the tower. Ultimate coming out from Variety. And Zyrhoes stuck down just a little bit. Ice doesn't find the flank. And a very...
much ado about nothing.
Yeah, just a nonchalant brushing past
Earth and Fury being down is a pretty big deal. Certainly bigger than Lurking in the Waters, where Deathwalker is really just using it as a don't kill me button.
Sure.
Of course, you get CC immunity, big slow field around him, and most importantly, probably outside the damage, of course, is the fact that he gets 30% more protections while Lurking in the Waters. So he definitely becomes a little bit more killable, but he's got so much CDR that it doesn't really hurt him so much. He's sitting at 30%, 40% now with Mantle of Discord, so full CDR for him, whereas Variety doesn't have nearly that much, 30% for Variety. He went with Penitence.
Team Dignitas missed their whoop, but now Rival want to get aggressive. Deathwalker loses 10% of his HP and gets it right back, no problem. And another reset. Team Dignitas have what we call a high execution composition. They need Zyrhoes to hit one of the smaller skill shots in the game in order to actually have a chance at starting the team fight. Meanwhile, Team Rival are unwilling to start the team fight. They have a counter initiation composition. So Team Dignitas have to find the whoop into the stun, into the pull. And there's a little bit more wiggle room after the initial whoop. You can whoop into the grab, sure, but you got to find the banish. And Team Rival, like I said, Deathwalker can go in, look for a pluck, but it's not going to happen on Variety. QvoFred's going to be able to flip kick it as well. You know, there are options there. So Team Rival, while they want to flip somebody into Vogt's ultimate, that's not how it's going to go. They have to kind of respond to Team Dignitas. And that's why, if you're wondering why we're seeing such a sleepy game, it's because the rules of engagement, if you will, are so incredibly tight.
Well, Rival wants to wait for Team Dignitas, but Dignitas has so little engagement. I mean,
exactly.
Khepri is so good at so many things, but engage really isn't one of them. Now, his long-range route is very, very good at that against certain team compositions. I think it's very, very good against, say, the Morrigan. But Wlfy's never going to show himself at the beginning of a fight. He's going to be in stealth the entire time.
Yep.
At this point, as the Morrigan, you are spending all of your time in stealth with your one primed and ready to go. Just kind of waiting until someone walks into range, at which point you'll stun, auto attack 2, and insta transform, because otherwise you're dead very, very quickly, especially with that Bumba's mask for Wlfy.
What do you go to if you're trying to be aggressive?
Camazotz.
Yeah?
Yeah, still Camazotz here. I mean, maybe
Not
Freya.
the Freya?
No, it's a shorter duration. Doesn't last quite as long up in the sky.
Pyromancer goes to Team Dignitas unceremoniously.
This E-Staff pickup for Variety is pretty interesting to me. This is a new item in a lot of ways.
I was looking at that too.
That you go, oh, E-Staff, of course. You know,
yeah.
Pretty useful item,
Tank.
But it's been changed. And so now it steals away health and mana, basically giving you more tankiness. Think of it as 200 health, 20% crowd control reduction, 90 magical power, which Variety cares a little bit about, but not a whole lot. But it's really about he's dealing extra damage, but also receiving extra health back. And especially if the game plan is to whoop Kalas or whoop Deathwalker, and then Variety stuns them, that'll be 5% of their maximum health off of that. And that's a lot onto a tank. Then you add in the Earth and Fury across the whole team fight, you get 25% of the team's maximum health added to you. So it can be very, very good with that Earth and Fury if you're able to pop the stones all at once. You get a bunch off of it. But I do wonder if Variety is going to be a little bit squishier than he'd really like to as a result. It doesn't give you actual protection. It's just kind of fake protection.
Yeah, if I'm Team Dignitas, I'm not worried about the overall tankiness of the enemy squad. A Masamune on a jungler isn't going to really deter me from building regular, if you will. I would expect to see this item maybe if there's 3 frontline.
Your only chance is to hit the front line, though. So the number of front line doesn't really matter. It's
That's fair.
That's who you're going to be hitting. So there's no real point in trying something else.
Ooh, banish off the mark. We'll wait for it to come back up. Deathwalker dashes away.
It's the way it goes.
Yep. Oh, man, no! We missed it.
What's that?
The clock went 3-3-3-3. We should have made a wish.
That's okay. We can do it at 4-4-4-4.
If we get there. I mean, Dignitas, certainly a team that could I don't think we're at the point where one team fight wins it just yet.
No, I mean, there's no way. Rival has every
Oh my
tower on the
goodness,
map
I just
up.
realized that all of the
Two
towers.
tier 1s are dead for Dignitas, but other than that, the bases are still nearly pristine.
So at this point, I mean, obviously everybody dancing. Does it behoove Arkkyl to look to push down a mid tower? You gotta stay here. You can't even look
because
to do
there's
something
so
else.
much insta kill potential for Rival. Camazotz can blink on you and you're dead as soon as he gets that initiation off. Wlfy can walk up to you in stealth, you're dead, and are gonna have a tough time 1v1ing him. Vote can't really 1v1 particularly well because he's Cupid, and his best utility comes from healing his team and being in a team fight with Fields of Love, so there's no reason to separate him. Wlfy can't do it because he won't deal enough damage to the towers. That could be the one.
Oh no, it's not.
He caught the dash.
Yeah, Dignitas just wasn't ready for it. It looked like lack of communication.
They've had a while to get ready for it.
I think you know what this was.
No, it's just that
it's-
sometimes you're not there.
Yeah, and realistic. Ooh, Rival losing their patience. Flip tricks. Oh, variety. Good job. But nobody's collapsing on Deathwalker. He was stuck there. He was stuck there for like 4 seconds. Team Dignitas dropping the ball there. They're going to look for Wlfy, and QvoFred can close the gap. Still being taken care of by Collis, and Wlfy will not fall down. QvoFred, Trixtank, and Arkkyl in some trouble.
Man.
Vote's ultimate goes off.
That disarm from Collis was nuts.
Collis out of control.
I don't know if Cuvo was in auto attack range, but I know it was close. And I know that Cuvo didn't get a chance to try an auto attack because that disarm from Collis just on a little leap. By the way, Wlfy held on to the transformation that whole time, so Ice trying to get in here. Now Fire Giant getting low. Dignitas secure it.
That's how you're going to do it. 5-on-4, and you look for the objective. After the fact, a different story. Ice in the sky. He's going to land on the back line. Trixtank trades his life out. And if he's the only one that dies for this, Ryan, it's all well and good. But with Dignitas on the run, Team Rival looking to push it. Deathwalker here. Not going to grab Zyrhoes. Collis can't catch up either.
Losing Trix for a Fire Giant at this point in the game, totally fine.
Do it.
I mean, 36 minutes, you really did need some sort of separation. And Fire Giant can be that, but remember, it's not enhanced. That was the first Fire Giant of the game that went down, so you don't get that extra power, you don't get that extra objective damage. That's going to make it a little bit less valuable. But Rival only gets a tier 1 and a Pyromancer off of killing someone at 36 minutes. Cool. That is not a big deal whatsoever. A gold lead will develop here for Dignitas if they can start to push towers. I don't know. This is a really tough shot call, though, for Rival. Because normally, 37 minutes, you're like, oh, don't even think about defending a tower, because who cares about towers right now? Gold is irrelevant, yes, but there are so many towers up that Dignitas, even if they kill 2 members of Rival, probably can't end. If they deicide them, then it's over. So there is an inherent risk there. But I don't know that you want to expose your Phoenixes for free either. I really don't know. I don't know what I'd be calling here.
I agree. It's a tough call. I think that you defend on your tier 2s at the very least.
You're definitely not defending tier 1s.
Yeah.
It's just the flank route is too good on a tier 1 tower for you to ever fight there at 37 minutes.
Left side is the target. Dignitas, again, gold lead irrelevant, but for the sake of storytelling, extremely small. Rival has been here every step of the way. DW brought down to half HP. QvoFred keeping Ice at bay. Here it comes. Just pushing up. And iceicebaby not even going to be a part of the team fight. He's just being zoned out. Trixtank and QvoFred doing a great job of controlling Ice and not letting him really run amok.
Phoenix Siege is actually the call from Dignitas. Who cares about these other towers? It's already down to about half. Arkkyl does have to roll away because Collis right in the thick of things. He's going to use that Draconic Corruption and go in.
And here's Collis jumping in. Ultimate coming out from the Hunter as well. Backline is being harassed by iceicebaby, and Variety has to protect Zyrhoes. Trixtank being tossed right back into the mix. Team Dignitas still relatively healthy. They don't get what they wanted, which was the Phoenix. Half HP on that one. Team Rival still going to push up here, though, Ryan. I don't know how much gas they have in the tank.
Still 3 ultimates up for Dignitas, including Scarab's Blessing. The Trixtank is the lowest one on his team, so becomes a little bit less valuable as chances go up that he's got to use it on himself. Try to back there. I don't know. Rival won't quite let you, but still far enough away that Rival won't be able to catch and really punish. Tier 2 tower goes down, but that was going to happen basically no matter what as soon as Rival chased them out. So yes, Dignitas get a tier 2 on left, but so do Rival. So now both teams have their left side Phoenix exposed as Fire Giant's all but done now for Dig.
Yeah, just a minute and 20 seconds left until it respawns. And meanwhile, we're looking at these teams. Team Rival can absolutely take care of it next time around. Dignitas were just able to win the team fight.
Next Fire Giant will be enhanced, though.
That's true.
It's there now. Now that a Fire Giant has gone down, the next one will be enhanced. So that makes it, if that's an enhanced Fire Giant, I think that left side Phoenix falls just from the extra objective damage.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
it was down below half.
That's no joke. It's a ton of extra damage.
No 3K pots that I've seen quite yet in inventory, but only a matter of time now. Some power potions. Arkkyl's got one ready to go as soon as necessary. 3K pots definitely more valuable than they've been in a long time, though. Just recently, as Wlfy, first one in, stuns out Variety. That's good damage onto the enemy solo laner, but I don't know if that's good enough. He'll be able to sustain that up with Monolith pretty easily.
Wiggling on out is Trixtank. Team Rival have great map positioning right now. Their ability to block the opponent off from really getting into the Fire Giant corridor is a big deal. Not because they're going to be able to fall back and take care of the Fire Giant easier, but fighting here is much more effective than fighting in the Fire Giant pit, at least for what Team Rival want to do. Dignitas have a very small window of execution. We talked about at length when it comes down to their composition and the characters they've selected here. And so Team Rival kind of making things even tougher for them by making the amount of room they can work in rather small.
It does mean that there's less ways that Wlfy gets on top of you by funneling in this narrow corridor. As whoop onto Kalas, pretty good damage onto him, but Arkkyl immediately up into that Astral Barrage, looking for some damage, but I don't know his target. I guess it's Vote, and he nearly killed him.
QvoFred's going to kill Wlfy, however. Kalas and Deathwalker in some trouble. Nice root coming out from Trixtank, and it's enough to set up Arkkyl for the kill onto the Hunter. 60-plus seconds on 2 players for Team Rival. And the Fire Giant is going to be in the crosshairs of Dig. Pulling the trigger here. That's a nice shot for the Black.
How did Wlfy die with everything up? Was he mid-transform? I don't think so, because that takes your ultimate cooldown. Wlfy died before Beads, Aegis, or ultimate was used. And you're just not winning team fights like that.
That's a little bit rough, a little bit slow on the uptake.
Because the last team fight on left side Phoenix was so much of a wash because Wlfy transformed into Terra, and therefore there were Terra ultimates on both sides, meaning there wasn't a whole lot of anything. It's basically just whoever has the better anti-heal. Neither team really had it, so outside of Brawlers, Beatsticks on the junglers. But losing your mid laner that quickly, it's nearly impossible to win a team fight after that. Good job by iceicebaby to split push in mid and get the tier 2, again opening up a win condition for Team Rival. But now that Dig has an enhanced Fire Giant, they've got 1 Phoenix down already. They can use that Fire Minion wave to help pressure on the left-hand side and try and get that left side Phoenix down. 3K potions coming through. QvoFred was just able to purchase one. Now Rival's backs are truly against the wall. And I really wish, I was really focused on whether or not Vote was dying to the shots from Arkkyl, that I didn't see what happened to Wlfy. I'm very curious as to what ended up happening.
He just got crunched. He just got crunched in the middle of the team fight. QvoFred did a ton of damage to him. That was a big deal. Qvo got the ultimate to just jump right into the midst of it, and frankly, he fixed that face.
No, he's using a different skin. Is he using Hulk hands?
He's still fixing the face though.
I like Hulk hands, Robin.
But he's still fixing the face.
I can't tell. Yeah. He's wearing Hulk hands, Robin. I call it that because his hands are green, like the Hulk. It's also paying homage to a very popular children's toy, also by the name of Hulk hands.
I like that Chewbacca mask.
Dude, that one Facebook video with like the soccer mom who loved the Chewbacca mask, that was a great vid. I'm right there with you on that one, bud. Great call.
You are absolutely the guy to like that video, by the way.
That was a great video. She was really happy. What are you mad about?
Thanks, Dad Crow. I'm not mad. I'm just saying.
The toxic internet, man. Someone has pure unbridled joy for something stupid, and everyone has to make fun of them.
Not me.
That is you. Sometimes, not all the time. But you're also the one who has unbridled joy over a funny dog.
That's what I'm saying. Is I am that mom. And,
yeah,
and
you are. That's why
me.
I can't believe that you're leaving me out to dry like I'm the only one in this booth who likes that video.
I don't really like the video. I like the idea of that video. Kind of like Dignitas here, and I don't have a segue. They're going to be looking for the left-hand fight, 4-1 as QvoFred are stripped over to the mid lane. iceicebaby getting really aggressive, and that's going to mean Variety going right on in with the blink, looking for the team fight.
Wlfy, first one out. Again, he dies with both relics up. Zyrhoes able to get that kill. Kalos right in the thick of things. He gets abducted back. Great shots from Arkkyl. Bring down vote from a distance. Cuvo
That's it.
will kill Ice. And man, it felt like the most formal dance. That was the dance where no one could touch boys and girls on opposite sides of the gym. But finally, Dignitas able to bring it down.
Well, Aggro gets to reminisce about a senior prom. We get to see Dignitas take care of an opposition rival, kind of pretty problematic.
I don't know what happened to Wlfy in those last two team fights.
I
man.
do. He didn't play well.
I mean, when you don't use relics in 2 40-minute plus team fights, you're not going to win those team fights. It's pretty cut and dry.
It was just really tough. I want to give credit to Team Dignitas for making it so hard for him to play well. I think it really is the situation here because Team Rival came in last week or the beginning of this week. It was last week, and we saw them really turn things up, and Wlfy was a big part of that.
Yeah.
His ability to kind of come back and be the guy again was definitely a big part of what enabled Team Rival to find that team victory, et cetera, et cetera. Here was a slouch from Wlfy, and I want to blame it, if you will, on Team Dig.
Maybe. I don't know. Again, I was really focused on other things during those team fights. That's on me, admittedly, but I really do want to go back and watch what happened because he transformed in the second one around the Phoenix. So maybe he was mid-transformation. There is like a half a second stutter whenever you come out as part of the Morrigan's really good. This is your opportunity to kill her. Maybe you can blame it on that. The fight before that on Fire Giant, though, I really don't know.
Blame it on the Team Dignitas. Great game. Game number 1 in the books. Let's break it down.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Ryan. A big Game 1 comes out in favor of Team Dignitas, now up over Team Rival. And again, this could be what they need to clinch their ticket to make sure they don't have to worry about making it in that top 2. But Toli, what stood out for you in that game? I mean, how did Dignitas close it out?
It was the late game composition. Freya and Rama, Arkkyl, despite getting first blooded early on by iceicebaby's Camazotz, he still managed to do the damage in the late game. And that's where it came down to, the fact that iceicebaby never got the ball rolling off of that first blood. And when you pick Camazotz, you're looking for these early aggressive plays, but by like 39 minutes, there was collectively 7 kills remaining. Now, between the two junglers, Ravana is not the best late game jungler either, but has a little bit of a better time in the late game than a Camazotz.
You only need a few more tools, I feel like, than Camazotz for them to be kind of impactful. And we were discussing that, too, throughout the game, that neither one of these are particularly more than a bunch of damage, but it does come out a little bit more in QvoFred's favor to the point where he is the one selected by you all out there as the MVP on the back of that performance, looking very strong on the Robin. But you're right, Toli. I mean, this game was very slow. Dignitas forced Rival to play their pace.
Oh, absolutely. And just looking back at the second last team fight around the 41-minute mark, where look at this swoop onto Callus. This is what started the whole fight and allowed QvoFred to just really find where exactly Wlfy was. Perfect overhead kick, preventing the stun, diving the backline, taking Wlfy out.
That's just how QvoFred plays. It always knows exactly where to go on the backside of those fights. But one more thing I thought was important was Variety's impact in this game. He took the Terra over into the solo lane. Earth and Fury in those fights is such a big deal when you're able to get that off on multiple people, able to find the roots and the walls throughout it. Once they got, like you said, to those late game fights, they only need a second or two for Arkkyl and for Zyrhoes to start blowing somebody up.
It's like another relic, honestly, the Earth and Fury. Now, Sobek is good in the solo lane also for Deathwalker, don't get me wrong, being able to plug people and peel with a tail flip, but at the end of the day, it was all team fights. That's what Dignitas wanted to control.
Yeah.
Between the Terra and just having so much control with that Earth and Fury is what allowed them to make that blink play under the left side. Phoenix to find another kill onto Wlfy.